G'day and thanks for checking out another review. Today I'm having a look at the fairly new Gigabyte MO27Q. This is the usual Samsung manufactured 27-inch 244 quantum dot OLED panel. This one has the Gigabyte budget coat of paint, which is their standard industrial looking design. It has an adjustable stand with height, tilt and rotation adjustments but no swivel. It's got two 5-watt speakers built in. They're better than some built-in monitor speakers, but no better than cheap desktop speakers. The I/O consists of two HDMI 2.1 ports, one DisplayPort 1.4, one USB Type-C with alt mode and 18 watts of power delivery, one USB 3.2 upstream port and two USB 3.2 downstream ports. It has a very good glossy anti-reflective screen coating, unlike some other QD-OLEDs I've seen, or TVs for that matter. I have to search for my reflection even in daylight. Like all quantum dot layers, there is a reflective element to it as opposed to the very black white OLED monitors. So in a well-lit room, all QD-OLED panels have some kind of light reflected through them from the QD layer, which results in slightly lifted blacks and a slight grey tint to the screen while viewing off angle. Most QD-OLEDs get a magenta tint to them from the anti-reflective screen coating. It's the same type of coating you get on the inside of your glasses, so you don't see your eyeballs in certain lighting conditions. This screen doesn't have a magenta tint to it unless you hit it with a strong light source, and even then the coating does an excellent job at handling the reflections well. I also can't see any change in how the AR coating looks from any angle or viewing from off-center. It looks fantastic, dare I say better than my LG C4. The display has a reported DCI P3 coverage of 99% and a VESA Display HDR True Black 400 certification. The official specs are 250 nits at full screen brightness and up to 1000 nits of peak brightness. Text fringing exists on this panel due to the sub-pixel nature. However, if you download an app called Better ClearType Tuner, you can turn off color in the font scaling and eliminate almost all text fringing. QD-OLED text fringing gives me eye strain, and I'm so glad there's a way around it. Greys are all very clear compared to other OLEDs I've used, although typical banding can be seen on most OLEDs is still present here. Windows 11 seems to lift the gamma on this screen out of the box. My initial testing in games had me lowering the brightness level several points for my calibration to match up with the in-game recommended brightness, but once in-game everything was quite dark. I downloaded and applied an ICC profile intended for my LG C4, which worked perfectly on the Gigabyte. All in-game brightness calibration options needed no adjustments after this, and all my wallpapers looked completely normal again. Some people disagree with this method and cite black crushing. Without proper tools and the majority of users basing their calibration on visual preferences, your experience may vary. I don't have this gamma issue with consoles though, as the gamma seems to work properly there out of the box. Speaking of consoles, everything is working as intended over HDMI 2.1. HDR is fine on the Xbox Series X when selecting 4K 120Hz with the downscaling looking the same as native 1440p. The PlayStation 5 also has no issues with 1440p, 120Hz and VRR. VRR flicker is a thing on all of these Samsung QD-OLED panels, and there's no features to mitigate it built into the OSD. I usually just run the panel in 120Hz on the desktop, which eliminates flicker in all games except the occasional loading screen. Games that I want to play at 240Hz usually have exclusive full screen options that let me set 240Hz in their options. It's inherent to all OLED panels, just being a consequence of how they work. At least there's some workarounds. The OSD is quite robust. It operates like the old LG control joystick, and it has 2 extra buttons which can be programmed in to perform quick functions. It has all the typical OLED care functions some game assist options like crosshairs and enemy outline indicators, plenty of image presets, and an sRGB mode in SDR, which is very well calibrated, comes with a calibration report in the box. But most surprisingly, you can change a lot of the image settings in HDR mode. There are the two typical HDR modes, HDR True Black 400, which is just labeled HDR, and HDR Peak 1000, and these modes aren't customizable. But there are other typical presets like Game, FPS, and Movie, which allow you to change settings such as saturation, black levels, and brightness boosting. And I'll share my settings at the end of the video, and I can eliminate almost any noticeable ABL. Did I mention this thing's bright? There's only one other video review online, and this person mentions he hits 300 nits of sustained 100% brightness, which is huge for a QD-OLED. I don't have the equipment to test that, but it's definitely the brightest OLED I've ever looked at. Gaming looks fantastic on this screen, and I'll play some B-roll so you can see for yourself. So let's check out my settings that I think gives the screen its best picture, eliminating noticeable ABL. First, in the OLED care settings, I have static control on, pixel shift off, APL stabilize low, sub-logo dim off, and corner dim off. Then over in the HDR presets, I have just game selected. I have brightness 100, contrast 50, light enhance 1, color enhance 1, dark enhance off. These settings combined with the ICC profile for LG CTVs provide the brightest, most vibrant image I've found I can get on this screen. You can push the saturation and brightness up a bit, but the blues and oranges start to bleed and ABL does start to kick in. Thanks for checking out this review. If you've got any other questions, say so below. One like equals one vote for me getting a new camera so you can actually see these monitors more clearly. Subscribe if you want to see more reviews for things that aren't getting reviewed. And until next time, see you later, and thanks for watching.